The Fox News decision desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden
has been elected President of the United States.
It was supposed to be the end. But when the end came, Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States, wasn't ready to admit defeat.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
What ensued, what the president called ensuring election integrity, was an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 election. On January 2nd, 2021, Trump made this call to Georgia's Secretary of State, a state Trump lost by nearly 12,000 votes.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Then on January 6th, the president urged supporters to march to the Capitol to prevent Congress from certifying the election.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
What happened next, what Trump even now calls, quote, a day of love, was a scene previously unimaginable in America.
We need to hold the doors of the Capitol.
Even Trump's strongest supporters, like Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, were done with him.
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful.
Trump was impeached for a second time. He left office and retreated to his Florida resort and winter White House, Mar-a-Lago. His political career appeared to be over. Donald Trump's initial journey to the White House may have surprised the political establishment 4 years prior, but his persistence and unwillingness to take no for an answer were on brand for a man who has always spurned convention.
I think what you see is somebody who has incredible confidence in his own intuition.
Russ Buettner and Suzanne Craig are New York Times investigative reporters and co-authors of Lucky Loser, an unflattering look at how Trump, with the help of his father's money, fashioned himself into a self-made billionaire.
He has not, since the early 80s, really trusted people who have subject area expertise in almost anything. He will always overrule them to make things the way he wants them to turn out.
And in 1980s New York, everything seemed to turn out just right for the Playboy businessman.
He just thrived on the limelight, and everybody loved him. Everybody wanted to hear from him and see him and all that, his glory.
Trump's buildings were emblazoned with his name in large gold letters, a brash display of his ambition and self-regard. His fierce drive to succeed at any cost was instilled by his father, Fred Trump, a New York real estate developer who used his money and connections to pave the way for his son. Craig and Buettner tackled both men's finances, including Donald Trump's claim that he received just a $1 million loan from his father.
We saw from his father's financial records that Donald Trump had inherited and given over the course of his life the equivalent of about $413 million.
He was worth $200 million when he would talk. There was an interview he gave to the New York Times, and that grew to $1 billion when he was talking to 60 Minutes a decade later, and he was starting to make all these lists.
Where Trump excelled was in garnering attention and cultivating a brand for himself as a deal maker. He made millions licensing his name and published a ghost-written book, The Art of the Deal, his version of his rise to fame. But behind the patina of success, there were troubles. His companies filed for bankruptcy 6 times. His casinos lost money, and all were ultimately shuttered. But then in 2004, television came to the rescue. His glamorous public image was cemented in prime time with the help of the reality TV show The Apprentice. Trump's signature line,
You're fired.
became part of the cultural zeitgeist. It all led up to his biggest role yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
His campaign, with the slogan, Make America Great Again, gave rise to a nationalist movement. Unapologetic and unfiltered, Trump was a polarizing candidate.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Far from being disqualifying, Trump's behavior thrilled as many people as it disgusted.
Mexico is going to pay for the wall 100%.
So many, in fact, that he won the Republican presidential nomination and an Electoral College victory. On January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States.
So help me God.
In office, Trump enacted major tax cuts for corporations, renegotiated trade deals including NAFTA, and imposed tariffs on China. In 2017, when racial tensions erupted into violence at a rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, Trump seemed to provide cover for white nationalists.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
In 2019, he was impeached for the first time and later acquitted of charges of making military aid to Ukraine contingent on an investigation into the Biden family. Most notably, he nominated 3 Supreme Court justices who helped overturn Roe v. Wade, the abortion ruling that had made the procedure a protected right. It was something conservatives had sought for 49 years.
The U.S. death toll now above 150,000.
In early 2020, COVID-19 began to upend Americans' lives. The pandemic would be the final test of his administration. Trump successfully initiated Operation Warp Speed, which fast-tracked the development of life-saving vaccines. But his response was erratic.
You know, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
With his medical team looking on, Trump at one point seemed to suggest that scientists study the value of injecting bleach to kill the virus.
And then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
With over 9 million Americans infected and a death toll exceeding 230,000, voters headed to the polls that November and chose Joe Biden as their next president.
The people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory.
Controversy continues to follow Trump, as it had during his administration. He is the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. With multiple indictments in 4 criminal cases, he is the first former president to become a convicted felon. But Trump never gave up on trying to return to the Oval Office, and his supporters never gave up on him. He's never been more popular than he is now.
When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
He has remade the GOP as his own. Within the party, members have learned that criticizing the former president is an unpardonable sin. And Republicans who once did so have either fallen out of favor or fallen in line.
The American people are not going to tolerate 4 more years of affordability crisis, a world on fire, a broken border, energy dependence. Trump's going to win because they have failed the American people.
Take a look at what happened.
And Trump surviving 2 assassination attempts this year has only strengthened the bond between him and his supporters.
I believe in guardian angels, and I do believe sitting there and seeing him shot like that, yes, God has a plan for Trump, and he absolutely was spared for some purpose and reason, and hopefully it's to become the 47th president.
American politics has never been the same since Donald Trump entered the field. And the man who once co-authored The Art of the Comeback may now be engineering one of the biggest in American history. Tina Trin, VOA News, New York.